Hey Rohan, how are you?
Thanks, Arturo. I'm fine. Hi, Alfredo as well. Yeah,
Glad we
great,
We're
great,
doing
connected
good.
today.
We're doing good.
great, great.
We would like to thank you, Rohan, for setting up the time to talk to us. We're putting together a series of video interviews with
Right.
entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, and we would like to kind of discuss with you a little bit kind of about what are you working on right now, and you know
Yes.
delve a little deeper into like business mindset and how to be productive, and some strategies around how you focus on getting clients. So hopefully this is a good conversation between the three of us. Okay, and again, thank you very much for your time.
Right, right. I'm a SEO. I remember I started my first blog when I was in standard eight. At that, I started my tech blog, and I still remember that was the time when I didn't know anything about it. Right. So my skills, I personally feel that I like to sell things. Right. I love to sell things. So once you have that habit of selling things, now, so it's something every person needs to do something, and he needs to be best at it, and he can just have an overview knowledge of the other things, and his base skill needs to be strong. That's all what I felt, and I started building websites and started selling them. So we basically help business owners, marketers, bloggers, and investors as well to buy and sell online assets. So there was a market gap which I eventually saw. So these kind of platforms are focused on like more ticket size assets. And when I realized that, I felt like there is a huge potential. If there are tons of sites which are making revenue from $100 to $1,000, and they have a fairly good selling ticket price as well. So that's where I thought, like, why not have a platform, right? So it's a lot of manual work when it comes to as a brokers. Like, we understand, like, for sellers they have to give tons of details, and we do our due diligence reports, and the process needs to be automated, it needs to be organized, it needs to be better. So keeping these three things in mind, I built a platform which is flippers.club. Thankfully it's ready now. We haven't launched it yet, but if you just type flippers.club, you will find it. And uh, so this is one of the best things I do. I love website flipping. I love to invest in online assets, and similarly selling them, showing their potential to the actual buyers, what they can do with it. And even if a layman wants to buy a website from us,
Mhm.
we just want him to give everything what he needs at that moment.
So it's super interesting. So you essentially
Right.
started your startup from your own experience flipping websites, and
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
you realize that there is a gap for kind of early earning websites on one
Right.
side. But I was interested about what you were talking about in terms of like the automation process that you're trying to bring in,
Right.
and
Right.
what is the pain, or what were the pains that you had from a buyer or
Yeah.
a seller perspective in the process?
The hassle was, which I was hustling while selling my websites. When we talk about Flipper, so if there is a layman going on Flipper, he's
Mhm.
going to get scammed very easily. It's it's very easy to get scammed on Flipper. So you need to make sure what you're buying, you need to know if and buts each and everything about it. And if you're just going and buying anything, you may not get the returns you are expecting after buying it. So Flippa is somewhere, and their system, the kind of though they have improved a bit in last 2-3 months. Earlier they don't used to use escrow. Now they have integrated escrow in their system, which we are also using, because again, you can't match the trust of escrow by providing any service. So you need to have escrow while buying and selling digital assets. And while talk about Flippa, there are other things involved, like you have to talk to each and every person who is interested in your site, and you will get like, man, I'm adding more than 30 people every day on my analytics, like are they even genuine? Like, and if you tell them like, it's a long and hassle process. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So to do all this thing, this process will be done by us. You just have to sign up to our portal, get approved, get verified by just giving us your identity verification. And if you if you want to sell, you just have to add a listing. You have to share all the details. There's a proper listing page over there, which you can just go and just give us the details and submit for review, and we will give you our reply in the next 24 hours, and that's how the whole process will begin. Yeah.
And what's the business model? So how do you make money, with the platform?
Yeah. So once there is no upfront fee, we don't charge any upfront fee. We do the due diligence for free. We don't want any fishy or shady link building techniques used in the website which we are selling. I personally I just don't want my sellers to be happy. It's your buyers. They need to be satisfied with what you are, basically it's like you are trusting this website. That's why I'm buying it. So you need to make sure that you don't lose that trust. So, and we charge like 8% commission for assets which are less than $80,000 in sale price, and 5% for above that. So that's our commission. On the commission is flat on your sale price, and that's how we are eventually generating revenue for our business.
Great. So your next milestone is actually like doing the launch.
Yeah, I'm planning to launch in next 30 days maybe. It's like we are currently actually finding the right plan. I just don't want to rush, right? We are going to launch it very well. um, um, Similarly, so my second business is just going to so this was my strategy, how my second business started. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So let's suppose like a person who is buying and selling assets, he is also looking for content management services, content writing services, right? So what happens is, once let's suppose, Arturo, I'm selling your website, right? And I sell your website, and you are going to come next year to sell another website. So that the a personal touch between us, our connectivity between us, that was missing in this business. So to maintain that connectivity, I thought, why not start a services and stay connected to them, right? That will be a master stroke if I'm able to achieve it. So that's why I started content writing services, and our brand name is Candid Content. We have now nearly 40 clients with us. We are touching milestones every month. No doubt. I'm so crazy to know. Like, I started back in January and it's going great. I'm making decent revenues. It's going great. I have like 40 potential flipping clients. Like, if they want to sell their website or if they want to buy, I have 40 people with me, right?
Right. Right.
So that's how I want to use my audience and help them as as
And
much as I
it
can.
also solves like an interesting pain point around
Right.
um, particular like people that are just getting into the market, or
Absolutely.
like trying to buy an SEO and have like some passive income
Right.
strategy. But a lot of the people, what actually pertains them from actually pulling that trigger is that they don't exactly know how to operate a website afterwards, right? And content is a
Right.
pretty important part of that strategy. So I think it makes a lot of sense for you to kind of wrap around that particular business with your
Right.
other content business. And thing.
Rohan, one question.
Right.
In the process of building these two businesses,
Right.
did you pivot? Did you switch strategy around that? And if so, how was that experience?
So what happens is, I don't really sit and make a strategy. It's just the flow which gives me what I have to do next.
Mhm.
Okay, I just focus on the first point. Once I cleared that, my strategy is right next after what I have to do. So if you ask me a strategy, I'll say, uh, just make sure that you are doing something good, right? You are leveling up on everything what others are providing, others the market is providing you. And once you do that, like, it's a complete new strategy. Like, if someone is giving content for like $40, and if we are able to give it for $25 or $30,
Mhm.
that itself is an improvement. And see, my strategy in terms of, if I talk about my target audience, I have to target which kind of people. So if we talk about that, I target like the people who are managing multiple businesses. I didn't go after like small brands who needs just 5,000 or 3,000 words. I went after like the people who want 100k words, 50,000 words every month. So
Mhm.
these were like my key points when I started it. And this was all about my content agency. And if I talk about my flipping agency,
Uh-huh.
see, it's a kind of a business in which you can't, eventually involve a lot of manpower or like assistants with you, right? You really can't involve multiple people. They can do the grunt work, but I love to do it,
Got it.
I love to make reports, like diligence reports. I love to see what is happening in the website. It is the only way you are updated up to the mark. You know everything, right? If I didn't know SEO, I'm damn sure I must be not be a good flipper. I
Mhm.
must not able to sell website at a great price. So once you know things, you analyze very well, you suggest very well, and definitely once you understand what a buyer wants and what a seller wants, and able to convince both of them for a price, that's where you play
Well,
a
so,
role.
are you a solo founder or do you have like a co-founder?
No, so earlier, definitely. So earlier, when I started, like, I started Flippers as a brand 2 years back. Earlier, I used to do as a freelance service, and so there was a co-founder who is Adit Sasi.
Uh-huh.
So he's the same guy who actually taught me about it, like what actually website flipping is. He is my school senior. Like in my school, he used to be my senior, and that's how we met, and that's how it all started. I didn't know anything about the online world. He introduced me into it. He was a king at that time when I was in what, yeah, my mentor, everything. Yeah, he's like, he's still my, I feel he's like a bigger brother to me. And a support, it feels like a support. Someone is supporting you in throughout your journey.
And over time, um, because I found this to kind of be very interesting. Over time,
Hmm.
you developed like a small network of mentors where you like bounce your ideas and try to
Right.
get early feedback, or you
Right.
are more around like you have the idea and you kind of go and execute it and then maybe ask for
Right.
others.
Right.
How do you go around that?
So like, about, you mean to say the advice, like, once you.
Just like general like business advice or your or like new idea.
Fair, fair. So, my for advices, or for like, advice, like, I prefer to go to my father first. So he's
Okay.
the best guy. If I just don't tell him the exact situation.
Okay.
I don't have to tell him the details, right? I'll
Mhm.
just give him an overview of what is going on and what I'm facing. And I think that is the only person who will give you the best advice in the world, because, right, he's your father. And So that's why. So my first option is my father, and if I'm not able to get a, um, he's not sure about it, then I go to my brother, like Adit, and ask him what he thinks about it.
Uh-huh.
And I have a ton of friends who are ready to give me the best advice they can give, you know. So I have good, I saw a quote on the email when you send me the details, like your net worth is your network, right?
Yeah.
I saw on Alfredo's, or maybe your email signature section, right? And that's absolutely what I'm telling. That's the only thing you need.
That's great. Thanks for sharing
Right,
that insight, Rohan,
right,
and
right.
also on the minds that you do for bouncing back ideas and mentors. Switching gears to productivity, a few questions about your style, right? Are you a morning worker, a night worker? How do you stay productive over the day?
Okay, that's like I can't give an answer for that, because sometimes I like mornings. Like in summers, I love mornings, but when it comes to winter, I love nights. Definitely, nights are like best time to work. But eventually, my overall diet schedules and everything get messed up when I work in night. So that's why it's like I'm 3 months I'm working late at night, 3 months I'm rising early. It's like it can happen. Even I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But I just make sure if I have an appointment, I'll make sure I'll be ready for that.
Well, a lot of your business is kind of, US based in a way, right? So you also
Right.
have to deal with the time zone difference, right?
Yeah, I have to face that. Yeah.
It's part of
But it's easy to do. It's easy to do. Like if your work is done, I don't think you really need to wake up in night. You need to be prepared with everything.
Yep, yep.
That's
It's
what
true.
needed.
If you're
Yeah.
organized, it definitely
Yeah.
works. So one of the things I always kind of ask people is, how do you stay productive during the day? Like I, for example, get like sometimes
Right.
super distracted with like Twitter or like
Right.
social media and stuff like that. How do you manage to get like yourself, focused
So
and productive?
focus to that. Yeah. So I have a very great answer for that. The space which I use from my co-working space, it's WeWork. And I found the best people around there. Like you have a graphic designer sitting right next to you. So if there is a problem and I have a professional sitting right next to me, and I can just go and say, hi, I just need help in something like this. And that's where I feel the difference. I don't feel productivity. If you have a good space, if you're loving that space and you are loving what you're doing, I don't think you can't be non-productive. Like productivity, it's something, if it only comes when you're enjoying your work. uh, Whenever you feel like you don't feel like working, I just say just leave it for that moment and take a breath, and have a drink or just chill for that moment. And eventually, if you love your work, you are going to get back after 30 minutes or 20 minutes, and you are good to go. So it's really not an issue for me, because I'm just loving this roller coaster ride. Yeah.
So would you consider yourself in like the spectrum between the 4 hour week guy like Tim Ferriss, or like grinding 24 hours a day? Well,
No, I'm not the second type of guy. I just work like 3 to 4 hours a day, max to max. Like this is what, like when I'm going out, I just work like 3 to 4 hours in a day. And when it was lockdown, I was working for like 8 to 9 hours, because I had a lot of time to burn. So it was like, why not spend it on my work? Yeah.
okay, awesome, awesome. Well, and so I'm not. How was your like work lifestyle before the lockdown? Like, were you already 100% remote, or were you more like office based, and then you had to switch to like remote? And what do you like? I know
So,
you've talked about like the productivity of being at the
mhm,
office. So I'm assuming
right, right.
that's your preference. But how did how did you do the switch?
Fair. So, my content agency was all virtual at that point.
Okay.
Mostly was virtual. Only like 2 to 3 of my super duper writers was with me
Mm-hmm.
to work for my online assets. And then my there is a dedicated SEO team which was in house before lockdown, but eventually they also have to work from their own locations. So what we did was, it took us only 7 days to basically um, create a flow of working online, and that is the only time we took to shift our work. And we never there were no firing at that time. We never fired any person at that stage, because the kind of work we were doing was pretty much stable, pretty much it was going through the flow, though we also experienced a dip of about 20 to 35% in
Mm-hmm.
revenues in those initial 3 months. But after that, it's just coming up and up. So definitely, I invested my time in creating tutorial videos for my people,
Uh-huh.
so that was the only thing which I uh, gave time to in the lockdown phase. And I just created a lot of content for my employees to learn and do well. That's all I did, nothing else.
How did you go
Mhm.
around your customer acquisition strategy for Candid, for your for your
Mhm.
writing services, and
Right.
how are you thinking about going around your customer acquisition in your new venture?
Fair. So, about the content agency, I feel our customer acquisition part was, I fairly had like good number of clients with me at that point, because I was involved in flipping businesses. So I knew the people who need, so it was very easy for me to eventually start creating a content writing process and start hiring people for the role, because I knew there was a demand. There is a stable demand in my view, and there are people who are ready to try my services. So why not? Like, that's how I started. There were not too many orders at start, but eventually I personally thank you for being one of like my top 5 clients. You are one of my top 5 clients, whom I worked with.
Really?
And that's how it all started. So about the strategy, I had like a few people. So some people got so impressed with the service, they started referring their friends, they started including me in their newsletters. And that's all what I needed at that point. I really didn't had much money to invest in marketing,
Mhm.
but my product was solid, and it did his marketing on his own. So
I
that's what
still
happened.
remember when when we first met
Right.
over social media. I think it was maybe some Facebook group, and
Right.
I remember that you offered to do actually like like free work. Like I'll write
Yeah.
like this content for you. Like I know that
Yeah.
I'm very good at it, and just let me
Yeah.
show your value. And for me, that was like super impressive.
Yeah.
And the content was was very good, and that's actually something that always called my attention. I thought
Definitely. Yeah.
it was a good strategy,
Yeah.
which you're still doing like, a big investment, like working for doing some work for free. But
Yes.
but if you really trust the product and the service that you're selling,
Right.
it's definitely a great strategy to go through.
Yeah. So I still do this. Whenever I see a potential, I see this person like, I can really convince him. I feel like giving free work is worth it. Like, if you like it, just pay, then only pay us. Otherwise, no problem. No, no hard feelings. So I love to help you any way I can. Like, if not just content, if you're just ordering content, it's not just like that. If you
Yeah.
need other help, just let me know. So
Yeah.
maybe I know a guy who can help you. So
Yeah.
this is what helps everyone. So I just want, if I'm growing, I want other people to grow, and once this happens, then your community becomes strong, and we all make money.
For your flipping platform,
Yeah.
what strategy are you following? Well, I guess in a way there are you know already kind of a lot of your customers, but how are
Right.
you planning it on making it known or more?
So yeah, definitely. So I'm focusing on creating more such videos like we are doing right now.
Great, sounds good. Sounds good. So I think
Yeah.
from my stand, those were the questions that I had. Alfredo, I don't know if
Right.
you have a couple of more questions.
I think to great meeting you,
Yeah.
Rohan. A great story and journey on being
Great.
productive, launching two businesses, sharing your expertise
Yeah.
there. On the personal side, is there any favorite book
Oh yeah.
or movie that you can recommend to us?
So I'm really not a big fan of books, because I'm a big fan of Bollywood, which we
Okay, yeah,
so yeah, I'm a big fan of Bollywood. I
Okay.
love Shah Rukh Khan, if you know about him.
yeah, yeah,
uh,
sure.
I love him, and so I've not much interest in watching movies. I rather read an interview by some great founder. That is what excites me rather than entertaining myself. I
Got it.
rather entertain myself, just watching an interview. That's what I like to do, rather than just
That's great. That's great. I'm actually the same. I'm not too much of a reader.
Yeah. Reading is fun for those who have that patience, right?
Yep.
For me, it's like, it's going to take my whole day to read this. And to explain something in words, it's very easy, right?
Yeah.
You just
You have to
go
do
with
what
the
you
flow.
like. That's right.
Yeah.
I started reading a lot in this pandemic, but in the past,
Yeah.
it was really hard to find the time to do so. That's right.
Yeah, it's a fast life. You like, really want, if I have like enough time to read a book, I would love to do that. I'm planning a vacation in maybe next week to eventually, maybe I'm able to finish a book in that vacation. Let's hope so.
Awesome. Awesome.
Great.
Well, thank you. And thank you again for your time. I
Yeah,
think
great.
I really hope that people appreciate the insights of
Right.
your entrepreneurship style, and how you've been actually able to put together like two businesses in
Right.
less than a year. So I think
Yeah.
those are great accomplishments. And we'll definitely keep in touch, and see you soon.
Perfect. Thanks for inviting me on this call. I was so excited to be here, and I love both of you. Like Arturo's, like we have been discussing a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, and I definitely I can say best of luck for your new venture. I'm hoping you guys do crazy stuff, and just best wishes from my side.
Thank you.